What's up, y'all? Got a few minutes to myself. So, it's been a long time since I made a video. That's not to say I have not been producing content. I actually have created, I won't say written, but I've created 2 entire seasons of content. I started seasons 3, 4, and 5. So it's a series that I'm producing. And y'all see I got on one of my favorite hoodies. Got it in a couple different colors. Shout out to EYL, Ian, Rashad, Troy. Much respect. Haven't joined the university, but still get great value from it. Looking forward to that Anduril IPO. Anyways, came out to grab some stuff from my toddler. Had a few minutes to speak, so here's my honest thoughts, right? This video is not going to be an entry in the series that I've been creating. You know, my series is going to be, well, I'm not going to tell y'all what it's called, but it's definitely coming. Once I get some time, I'll produce it. But I've just been adding entries pretty much on a daily basis. Season 1 is like 20 episodes. Season 2 is like 20 episodes. And then I haven't finished production, like I said, on 3, 4, and 5. I barely started season 5. I probably only have like maybe 1 episode so far. All right, so, but anyways, let's see. I need to grab some, honestly, I need to grab some training Pampers for my toddler. I got these, yeah. It's time for him to move up and start doing the big boy things, right? Oh wow, this potty right here was damn $35, and they got it for 10. Man, sold out. I know my wife would have loved that because she's big on getting the sale. Wish I had seen this beforehand. Got to be early, not late, right? All right, back to the topic. So it's really simple what I want to talk about today. You know, today I just want to bring up the fact that it's very important for men, males, adults, anybody really, to learn to speak up, speak your mind, right? Speak on what you're worth. I'm gonna give you all a few examples and get on out of here. I gotta get home. But here's the thing, right? If you feel like you're not getting what you deserve in a situation, then the person that's responsible for speaking up to bring you up to the level where you feel like you deserve to be treated or get what you want out the situation, that person is you. It's your life, your situation. So it's your responsibility to balance the equation. You understand? If you don't balance the equation by speaking up, nobody's going to read your mind. Nobody's going to know what's going on. Nobody's going to know what you're going through. It's up to you to speak up and say, hey, I'm not happy with this situation, and I'm going to need things to change. Let me give you an example, right? Before I started working in my career, where I've been at for the last 10 plus years, right? I was working for a small pharmaceutical company, and I've told this story many times. There was a department manager. She didn't used to be the department manager. She used to be like over, I don't know, like, she had like a really small role. And then the woman who was the customer service manager got ousted, which was crazy because when I first got there, she and I were beefing. And over a period of time, you know, we actually clicked. I started getting my like quarterly bonuses from her. You know, we got along pretty well. You know, it actually wasn't quarterly, it was monthly. So we actually got along pretty well after, you know, clashing at first. But eventually, you know, she got ousted in like December, I think like 2014, something like that. And who took her place? The customer service manager. The same one that, like I told the story before, was backing the cheeks up on me at a party one day that the company was having. You know, and hey, I wasn't trying to get into that because I had a girlfriend at the time, and that girlfriend would go on to become my lovely wife, right? So, you know, of course, I'm pretty sure the manager took that personally. She never really forgave me for that slight when I like backed away from her. Because look, just because you toss the cakes at a man doesn't mean he's going to take them. Some of us have discretion. Some of us can say no. Some of us are trying to live a better life than we used to live. And that requires us to go in a different direction than the one we used to walk in, right? So you know, that manager, along with a supervisor of her, they used to really give me a hard time. They used to pick with me. They used to nag at me, and you know, it sucked. So one day, after I got a new job at a company where I would go on to study for my course, where I would get my pre-licensing certificate and then go on to get my license for the career I'm in now. I got a job, you know, with that company. So I walked into the pharmaceutical company, my manager's office, and I sat down. And I said, hey, I just want to know if like there's anything that, you know, you feel like I could improve at this job, anything you feel like I should do differently. I already knew that I wasn't going to stay, but I was playing her. I was playing with her like, you know, like a cat to play with a mouse before, you know, eating it or killing it, whatever. I just was like, hey, you F with me, I'm going to F with you for a while, you know? So, because I had the time. So I walked in there, I was like, hey, is there anything I could do to, you know, make like my job easier? She's like, well, you know, you've really been, you know, not getting the best reviews, and I don't know how much longer we're going to keep you and this and that. And I was like, okay. Well, actually, and she went back, she started to go back to her, you know, computer started to work and everything. And I said to her, well, actually, I got a new job. And you could see like her whole body jump. She was shocked. She couldn't believe like I was, because she recognized the play. Like I just came in there and I just played you. I'm wasting your time. And I said, and today is my last day. I said, you know, so I just want to let you know that I'm out of here. And she tried to act like she didn't care. She tried to, you know, shrug it off, but you could see in her body language, it ate her up. But that's a minor example of me showing that, hey, this is a situation. It doesn't benefit me. It doesn't serve me. And I'm gone. And the place I went ended up going, I was only there for like 9 months, and they only paid me like 50 cents an hour more than the place I was at the pharmaceutical company. But it gave me an opportunity to launch my career. And that was invaluable, especially with, you know, the COVID pandemic and how that changed everything. I've been the sole breadwinner in my house for almost the last 3 years. And, you know, at times it's been tough. You know, I've had to dip into savings, sure. But most of those months, I've been killing it on my own. 6 figures every year, bare minimum, at least 100K a year, you know? But that's just one example, right? So let's talk about another one, right? And this is really the one that got me to make this video. So probably I'll just do 2 stories because I'm trying to get back home. I've been working for this contractor, and he's cool. He's real cool. I got no beef with him. He's a good guy. And honestly, I'm not going to say good guys are hard to find in my industry, but I will say that, like, there's definitely no shortage of like shady people in the industry. And if you decide as an adjuster to do work for them privately, private contracting, you know, you can go off like a verbal agreement, but honestly, the smartest thing to do is to have something in writing. And if you choose not to have something in writing, just know there's a chance you might get burnt. Most of the people I've done work for have always paid me. They've always paid me on time. But I have got burned for like 8 grand before. Right now, I'm on the verge of getting burnt for 20 grand, you know? Now, people will hear that and they think, oh my gosh, that's the end of the world. It's the end of your life. It's not. In life, sometimes things happen. Getting burnt for 20 grand, getting burnt for 8 grand, you know, it's a life experience. You know, you learn from that. You know, maybe you file a lawsuit or you just decide to not work for that person again, or both. You know what I'm saying? You decide to just distance yourself from that person since they can't act in an ethical manner. But it's not the end of the world. You just continue to go on, make more money, and move smarter. You know, and that's the reality of the situation. You cannot win you don't always come out on top. Sometimes, you know, you get taken advantage of. Sometimes you get slighted. You know, it's just bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people, good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people. That's reality. But this contractor I've been working for, you know, I've written him like 115 estimates. So I've been working for him for a little over a year. He's always paid me. But the beginning of this year came, and I think he just was running into some issues with the mortgage companies being listed on the checks the homeowners would get for payment from the insurance company, because I write his estimates, right? I write his property insurance repair estimates. And he kind of got mad at me out of the blue. You know, I was asking him like, hey, I need to know when I'm going to get paid, because we got those 2 snowstorms that happened, right? And like I said, I'm an independent insurance adjuster. So those 2 snowstorms happened, and I'm getting a lot of work, like a ridiculous amount of work. You know what I'm saying? Like I got so much work in the last couple of weeks, I've had to turn off my availability with the number of clients, and I still got people calling me. I had somebody call me yesterday, offer me work. The day before that, I got like 5 claims. You know what I'm saying? Some of these people I still have to call. Haven't even made contact yet. So the work is there. And I'm grateful because in the last couple, 5-10 years, last 5 years bare minimum, with COVID, you got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that have lost their jobs directly related to COVID, in the fallout of COVID, and just because of companies switching over to AI, things like that, right? So people are always losing their jobs. For me to remain in my industry and continue to, hold on one second. That's actually mine. Excuse me, those diapers, that's actually mine. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. Go back to the story I was talking about, and yeah, anyways. A lot of people have lost their jobs, right? So to be able to be in my industry and still be having new people, new clients reach out to me and say like, hey, we want you. Hey, I worked with you years ago. I like you. I like how you vibe. You know, come back to the team. I got work for you. You know, we pay good. Hey, check out our contract. You know, sign up. We want you on the team. It's a good feeling because there's no sales involved in what I do. It's just claim is assigned, investigate, make contact, investigate, photos, pictures, estimate, submit, get paid. It's pretty much that open and shut, right? So it's a good feeling, you know, being stable in the employment sense, right? For as long as I can be. My research hasn't really shown that, you know, claims adjusting is going to be threatened by AI, at least the last I checked. But back to what I was saying, right? So the contractor I've been working for, he just kind of started acting funny, you know. He started getting upset with me around the end of January because he was like, or maybe it was mid-February, and he was like, yeah, you're pressing me for these checks. Haven't I always paid you? I've always paid you, right? And I told him, yeah, you've always paid me. You know, I trust you. You know, you never give me a reason not to trust you. And he was saying like, well, because you're pressing me like I'm the other guy that owes you 20 grand. And I just wasn't prepared for that, you know? And it really sat with me for like 2 days. I tried not to take it personally. I tried to see where he was coming from since we have a good relationship, but I just had to get it off my chest, you know? And keep in mind, like I said, with the storm season and everything, I got so much work. I got people still calling me, asking me to take work. Man, you got to understand, like me and this contractor, I used to charge this guy 1.5% of the estimate total, right? And over the time that I was working for him, I had to reduce, sometimes like I have to adjust my estimate, and he doesn't necessarily pay me like just based on what I write. Whereas like other people I work for, they'll pay me exactly a percent. They'll pay me like based on what I write, or they'll pay me a set fee based on what I write. You know, this guy, he if he doesn't get paid that from the insurance company, he'll ask me to reduce my invoice, and then, you know, then I'll have to reflect like the balance that I may end up owing him a balance because of the fact that I reduced my invoice based on what he got from the insurance company, right? So it's definitely like relative to what he gets paid, and it sucks, you know? I'd rather just get paid a flat fee and you deal with it on the back end. But there was a time where like I had made some mistakes on my estimates, and I have a lot of respect for the guy, you know? So I was charging 1.5, and for like 6 months I went down to 1%. That means on like a $7,000 estimate, $7,500 estimate, I'm getting $75 as a 10-year adjuster. You know, I was screwing myself. But, you know, for a while I was like, man, it's okay. You know, like I said 1%, I don't like it. Look at where I got myself. I did this to myself, so I guess got to eat it. You know what I'm saying? But it all came to a head, like I said earlier this year. He got upset because I'm pressing him. And on one hand, I'm like, in my head, bro, I'm not even charging that much money. I was charging you 1.5. Now I'm charging you 1% because you told me that you missed out on like 100 grand from the insurance companies because I was incorrectly doing some of my estimates. So I reduced my rate from 1.5 to 1% to help compensate you. What I should have done was maybe reduce my rate for a period of time and then say after a while it's going back up to 1.5. That would have made sense. But, you know, I made an emotional decision in the heat of the moment, and I ended up paying the price literally for it, right? So when he came to me and he said, hey man, you know, you pressing me like, you know, I don't pay you. I mean, I got mad because like I told him, I actually sent him an email. I didn't want to call him and argue and go back and forth. Like, that's just not what men do. Men don't, argue back and forth. We say what we got to say one time, we let it go. We don't go back and forth. So I sent him an email, and I didn't curse or nothing like that. But in the subject of the email, I put quitting and final invoices. That was the subject of the email. And that was me standing up for myself and saying, hey, I'm not happy with the situation. I don't appreciate how you talk to me. And that's what I said to him. I said, look, man, I don't owe you money. I enjoy working with you, but I don't owe you any money. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how you feel about the situation because you owe me money. I don't owe you money. And I said, furthermore, you told me that you were going to pay me like for a couple invoices like 2 days ago, and I still didn't get that money yet. So I said, it's nothing personal. I enjoy working with you, but the moment you get upset because I'm asking for my money, I'm gone. And listen, it wasn't 10 seconds after I sent that email, he's calling me. And I didn't take his call because I didn't know what his energy was like. I didn't know, was he going to snap? You already raised your voice the last time you talked to me, so I didn't know what his intentions were. He's always been good to me. We've always had a respectful, cordial business relationship. But listen, I got to protect my energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to argue with men. I've seen how that goes, and I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, he responded by text. He paid me what he said he would pay me, like 10 minutes after I sent that email. He paid me. I'm talking to my wife about the situation. So, she's like, hey, I respect this guy. He was pretty honest. It seems like y'all had a misunderstanding. And I emailed him again. I was like, hey, man, looks like, we had a misunderstanding, but I've always trusted you, and I've always meant exactly what I said when I say something, So I said, whatever direction you want to go with this, if you want to continue working with me or you want to find somebody else, I respect that. And I didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks. So I felt like, that was it. I'm driving today. He calls me, hangs up immediately. Like, it rings once, hangs up. So I'm like, okay, maybe it was an accident dial. But I'm like, he still got my number though. I didn't think nothing of it. I keep driving. Calls me again like 10 seconds later. I took his call on the first ring. I was like, hey, what's going on? What can I do for you? He said, hey, man, I got a claim I would like you to write, and I'll pay you $400 for it. Now, keep in mind, I was charging them a percentage of the estimate total. So to get a flat rate, that's way better. That's way better. Everybody wants to know like something's guaranteed, So listen, he's like, when can you come up there? I was like, it might not be till next week. I'm booked out. I got a bunch of appointments, It's so crazy with storm season. And that's the truth. I wasn't saying it to be smart aleck. It's the truth. Men can disagree. Real men can disagree. And if they have respect for each other, they can still move forward. They don't have to like hold a grudge forever. You know what I'm saying? We had a disagreement. We had a misunderstanding. We still respect each other. The money's still coming. Hey, let's do it. Let's continue to do business. I'll help you make money. You help me make money. And I appreciate that you're coming correct. I appreciate that you respected, like I said, the cost of living. In my 10 years of experience, bruh, I'm worth too much to be charged at 1%. I got a class, not next week, but the week after, for property insurance appraising. And then in May, I got another full certification class. You have no idea listen, I talked to a guy like a week and a half ago. Property insurance appraisers at this company where this guy works, he told me that the insurance company pays that company, and I'm going to tell you the name of the company, Alacrity Solutions, right? That's one of the firms I do work for. He said that the insurance companies pay Alacrity Solutions $220 per hour for appraisers and for appraisals, and the property insurance appraisers make $175 an hour. That's not a mistake that I just said. The property insurance appraisers make $175 an hour. He said, that's why you need to come over here. You need to stop adjusting, and you need to come over here and start doing appraisals. He said, our average appraisal invoice is $1,800. Do you know what an average $1,800 invoice could do to change my life? Like, if I do, six of those in a month, man, I'm at like $10,000, $11,000 for the month. I'm good. I don't need to do anything else. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even the biggest month I've had. But the point is to do less work and to get paid more, to spend less energy and still get great value out of a situation, right? Yes, you should put in value to get out value. Yes. But I'm just saying, like, who even knew that $175 jobs exist? Who even knew that something like that was within reach? Like, I've had this guy's number in my phone for years. He called me like December or January, like, hey man, I never had a problem working with you in the past. I'd love for you to handle these state auto claims for me, and then we're talking on the second call. He's like, yeah, you need to stop doing adjusting. You need to come over here and do appraisals. I even emailed the company the last time we talked, and I asked them, like, hey man, the next appraisal class, I want to make sure I'm signed up for that. And they said, yeah, you're signed up, but we had such a big response in 2025 to people that came out that were interested in appraising. We're still trying to find them work, so we may not be able to get you any work right away, even if you get to attend the class, but that's fine. I just want to sign up because I know that after 10 years of experience being a published author in my industry, having done all the things I've done, yeah, hell yeah, I'm worth what I say I'm worth. And let's wrap this up with one last story, right? Because this video is about going after what you're worth. So this is the crazy story. I don't know if I've shared this already, but I'm gonna share it again. I was at a claim last year talking to the same contractor on the phone that I just told you guys about, the one that offered me $400 to do the mitigation estimate for him next week in New Jersey, right? I'm on the phone. I'm down Frankfurt, and there's a builder who provided access to this building in Frankfurt. So I come downstairs after talking to the contractor. He's like, hey man, how long you been doing this? I said, I've been doing it like 10 years. He said, okay. He's like, I'm a builder from New York. I'm buying a couple city blocks worth of real estate. Is that impressive? Yeah, but I didn't make a big deal out of it. I said, okay. So he says, how much do you charge to write estimates? I said 1%. He said, John, he shouted out to his business partner. He was like, John, come here. So John came, he said, John, what do we tell that other guy who we have write estimates for us? And the dude, John, was like, we told him that she needs to charge 2%. Now this is the guy, these guys are from New York. And in New York, I have learned people who write estimates do charge 2% because the cost of living is higher up there. Long story told short, the guy wanted me to write a full gut of the building, write an estimate to gut the building and rebuild it. So it came to about $245,000. He told me to charge him 2%. I charged him 2%. He ended up paying me in two payments a total of $4,728. $4,728. Most people don't even make $4,728 in a month. And I made that on one job. Now, granted, I have to chase after him a little bit because he was acting funny with the payments, but that's not the point. The point is, in life, you got to go after what you're worth. And in this case, what's really interesting is that I had help. It's not just me coming on here telling y'all, oh, you need to charge what you're worth. I'm actually telling you that I had somebody encourage me. I always like when I have these life stories and there's just some random stranger in my life that comes along and gives me some wisdom. That doesn't mean I'm going to charge everybody 2% moving forward, but the cost of living is going up. It has gone up in the last 5 years, 10 years I've been doing this, And I was just talking with a friend about this like 2 nights ago by text. Sometimes you got to raise your rates. If there's jobs out here paying $175 an hour, and I didn't even know about that until January, you know what I'm saying? I got complete strangers telling me, you're not charging enough. You need to charge people 2%. This dude don't know me at all. He don't owe me nothing. And he's still telling me, like, you need to charge more. So the point of this video, like I've been saying from the jump, is you got to speak up on what you're worth. Now, the first part is you got to know what you're worth, right? And you're only going to understand that through trial and error and through pursuing higher education and improvement of self, right? Which is an asset. Wasting time is a liability. Shout out to EYL. But once again, the best way to get value out of a situation is to speak up on it. If you're not getting what you like, speak up on it, Listen, we all got room for improvement. I'm happy to say I'm much better to my wife now than I was in the beginning of our relationship. It took time. It took effort, it took energy, but she spoke up, she let me know what it was, and hey, I got better at, being better to her. So that's all I got for now. I got to get home, got to take care of the family. But listen, y'all, the price of living is going up. You better speak up on what you're worth or you're going to get left behind. That's all there is to this. Peace.